last week I was lucky enough to meet Lucy Rycroft, the author of one of my favourite books, and it's called Deborah and Jael. Of course, I didn't actually meet her because you can't meet anyone at the moment because of coronavirus, which I hate coronavirus. And we had a nice chat on Zoom, and I asked her some questions. Why did you want to write about this book? Because it's not one of the usual ones that you get, like David and Goliath, now Zach, Daniel on the lion's den, and you know what I mean. So, and it's really gruesome, so why did you want to make that book into a children's book?
That's a really good question, Abigail, and I wrote it because, like you say, there aren't very many versions of that story for children, are there? And I thought it's such a good story, and why should children just have the same old Bible stories all the time? Like, the Bible is full of amazing stories, but we hear a lot about people like Moses, don't we, or David or Daniel in the lion's den. We don't really hear about women like Deborah or Jael. So I thought, let's do a book about them, and let's show children what an amazing story this is, because I think it's really exciting.
I like that the leaders are ladies, and that if they're in in Sunday school, we basically only learn about men in the Bible. So could you tell me if there's any other cool ladies in the Bible that I need to learn about?
I would say look up Rahab, because that is a really amazing story. Rahab hid some spies in her home. And the amazing thing about Rahab was she wasn't a Jew. She wasn't one of God's people. And yet she still trusted God, and she put her faith in God. And God saved her. It's amazing. And then she went on to have a baby, who had a baby, who had a baby, who had a baby, who had a baby. And like many, many, many babies later, many hundreds of years later, Jesus was born. So Rahab is actually like Jesus's great, loads of great grandma. So her story, I think, is really exciting. And you can find that at the start of Joshua. So if you don't know about Rahab, then look up Rahab.
Do your children like your stories?
I think they do, yes. They don't ask for it a lot, but we do enjoy reading it together when we do. Yeah, we have a lot of books in the home, so Mummy's book only comes out every so often. But I think they're quite proud of the fact that Mummy's an author. And last term, I did some Zoom writing workshops and storytelling workshops in their school. And I think the oldest one was a bit embarrassed, but the others seemed to be quite happy that I was going into their class via Zoom. And they seemed to be quite proud of me. So I felt very warm inside.
Have you written any other books?
Yes, I have. I've written a book called Redeeming Advent, and that's for grown-ups, and that helps grown-ups to focus on Jesus in the month leading up to Christmas through December. So yeah, I've just written one book for adults so far and one book for children. And did you know there are actually 2 more books coming out this summer in the same series, and one of them is called, drum roll, Abigail. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy that story then. I think it's a really good story. And then the other one is going to be Rahab. And I don't know if you've heard about Rahab, but she's another one, good one to look up. That's a really exciting story. She helps some spies.
What is your favourite Bible verse or Bible story?
Oh, that's a really hard one. Gosh, you've got me there, because there are so many good ones. I have so many favourites. But a couple of verses that I keep coming back to are in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on what you think you know, your own understanding. But in everything you do, acknowledge him and he'll make your path straight. And I've gone back to those verses so many times in my life, and at the moment they're really relevant at the moment. And it just basically reminds me that actually whatever happens in life, if we trust God, he'll keep us on a good path. It doesn't mean that life will always be easy, but it does mean that God will always go with us. So I think, yeah, they're some of my favourite verses, definitely.
Thank you, Lucy, for talking to me.